What's up, you guys? This is Mike Hall coming at you again. It's been a little bit of a delay because, believe it or not, this editing thing is annoying. Solved it coming up here, but we got busy. I mean, like, busy. So you mixing like me doing my own editing, which is not going to be happening anymore, with like we started selling houses again, and yeah, you get a 3-week delay.
Yep. And I learned how to turn the light on. That's my contribution to this podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much because that's
welcome.
That's what was bogging me down.
I know. And that's why we work great as a team. Mike spends hours and hours editing. I learned how to flip the light on.
Yep. So yeah, I do have a real estate coach.
You do?
Yep. Behind that, I think everybody should have a coach in general. They're cheat codes. And until you're Elon Musk, like there's always somebody above you doing what you're doing at a higher level that has the cheat codes. So I think coaching is a great way to do it.
So I think people look at coaching as a totally different entity or like thing than it really is. Like a lot of people go to coaching to find the solutions. I go to coaching to find the problems. Like I'm so comfortable with the way I do things that I'm completely unaware of the other things that others are doing totally different from me that are better. It's weird.
So what I get out of coaching is I hear myself. So like I was going to bring this up.
That's got to sound terrible.
Before you really interrupted me. But I go to my coach. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm just like bogged down with like this editing. You know, I love shooting it, but like the editing is killing me. And he just stares at me and I go, oh, I need to hire an editor, don't I?
Duh.
Yeah, if you don't want to edit these things, like probably. So like coaching more than anything is just like, I don't know. I hear myself a lot more.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yep.
Because you say the problem then the problem comes the solution comes when you just voice the opinion of the problem. Right.
I think like two crazy different markets hide those needs.
Yes.
So much. Like we operated for 2.5 years. We operated with almost zero changes in the way we were doing business and doing life and like operating. And I'm realizing in this last year, like I've had so much more opportunity to like change because I've had the time. It's weird.
The last 3 years have been insane. Let's start out where COVID happened. We all thought we were going broke. Then we all had the best years of our career, and the market exploded. And we found ourselves just expanding. Marketing, I'm talking about. Like what, all of our pieces, our marketing spend, everything was expanding. What happened this last, it was summer and fall when the Fed started, artificially trying to crush the marketplace, is that we found ourselves in a position where you could either die because deal flow started to come down, or you could get lean and really reevaluate your business from a high level perspective and be like, how lean can we get while also like offering everything? And so the last 6 to 8 months has been actually a lot of fun because we've just like stripped away all the fat and we're left with this lean machine. And now we're adding as need comes back in, which is where this video editor is coming back in, right?
Yeah. So let's take that for a minute and let's just go on a really quick ride. Last few years, we were just talking about this before we came in here with the well thought out plan that we always have when we walk into this studio.
Yep.
What are the 3 most bizarre things you've seen in this market over the last, let's just take a snippet. Let's take a year. Because I'd say go back a year, you're about the same. We're in kind of that same zone.
Bizarre or like impactful?
Either or.
The most impactful thing that I've seen is that I've seen this real estate market really has no room for immaturity. And I mean that from like when the market is just spinning out and churning, you can kind of screw your way up through a transaction, and it's really generally forgiving, right? We're not in a forgiving marketplace right now at all.
I was talking to some colleagues on the lending and the title side the other day, and it's amazing to me. And this is not a knock, by the way. This is just an observation. In the last 3 years during that busyness, I honestly didn't know if that agent was an experienced agent or not an experienced agent. Yep. I wouldn't have known unless I would have looked them up. In this market within about a second.
Yes.
I can tell who's been around the block before and who's like picked this up recently.
Yep.
It's crazy, both in how they're leading their transaction, how they're leading their client, how they're interacting with the list side or the buy side, how they're interacting with their lending partners, and just in general with their clients. It's so obvious.
Yep. And so what we're finding is that I'm having this odd experience in this marketplace where my business and like my quality of life is just kind of moving along. And I'm enjoying the same type of referrals coming in. Thank you so much for that, by the way. And regular lead flow, and I'm selling and purchasing houses, and I'm kind of like chugging along.
Yeah.
But then I'm seeing this other parallel that's right alongside me, and they're stunted there. So we're seeing deal flow. I'm finding it, but not everybody's finding that.
No, I mean, it's been, I'd say the average has been start, stop, start, stop.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot more of that than we're seeing like this 3-month peak and a 3-month valley. It's just been like good month, bad month, good month, good month, bad month.
Yeah.
It's just been weird.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I got one for you. So that's one.
Okay.
I got one for you. I have been involved in a lot of market-driven rate environments, home buying environments. I do not remember a time where we were doing necessary regular weekly rate updates.
Yeah.
Because it's so much different from a 3% to 3.25% than it is from a 5.99 to a 6.25%. It's just a different beast from a buying power. So I would say this, and this is one thing where it's been good for me because I've learned a lot more about how the overall general economy works together to create these mortgage-backed securities, to create these changes in our banking and lending environment, and how a regional bank in Silicon Valley has anything to do with something here. Like, it's just crazy. But I would say this market has been the most outrageously news cycle influenced market I've ever been a part of. And it's only reinforced the idea and the tenets that I kind of came into this business with, which is you cannot time this market. Period.
Yep.
Dude, I don't even think Jerome Powell knew what he was going to say until he got up to that dang podium.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if that guy can't give you, and he didn't give us anything in his speech. If the head of the FOMC can't accurately explain what's going to happen, like, you as a consumer with a Google search engine is not going to outsmart it. You have to follow the same things we've been saying for years. Focus on the things that matter in buying a home. It will never let you down.
You know what's bizarre? Piggybacking off that, so like I'll go back. I've been telling people this. There's a difference between like people deeply caring about the interest rate and what the Fed is doing and like what mortgage rates actually are. I can tell you for the first 5 years of me selling real estate, on a given day or month, whether I knew what the going interest rate was or not, probably not. Didn't know, didn't care. Because guess what? The buyer and seller pool didn't really care, right? They were anchoring it in the things that they did care about, which was locking into a 30-year fixed mortgage and making sure that you're getting money and concessions at the purchase price. Like, that's what we were focused on. Now we have buyers and sellers who, like, for obvious reasons, because the Fed and the media has just shoved it in your face, are like, we super care about the thing that our government tells us to care about, even though our government tells us to care about weird shit all the time. So it's like not necessarily that it matters, but like people care a lot about rates right now. And like that is shocking.
And I mean, you should care about like what the market's doing. You should care about like the general environment, but like it's a temperature thing for me. I don't need to know how hot my soup is to the nth degree. I just need to go, yep, that's hot. Yep, it's warm. Nope, that's cold. And like it's a feeling thing. I feel like that's like when we're talking about rates, the type of soup is more important than the exact temperature of the soup. That is an actual example. Is like, you've got to focus on like, can I stay here for a while? No. Okay, then let's look at this option. You know, it's crazy to me because people are so hyper focused on like, ooh, we got to get, that's 6.125. And then are you going to force yourself into a house that doesn't work for you for 3, 4, 5, 6 years? Rates go up. Good thing you locked in. Rates go down. You refinance. Bottom line is you're in a home that works for your family. Like we talk about this a lot, and that you can afford. Because that's the bottom line is, can I afford this payment?
And it's fixed over a period of time that is long.
And I'm not downplaying the rate environment. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it doesn't kind of suck right now. It does. Like, it's not the greatest rates we've ever had, but holy cow, I don't think I've had a deal go through recently where I haven't had some form of seller concession in one way or the other, whether it be through an inspection, whether it be through a closing date concession, whether it be through, actual seller paid costs. It's
By the way, 2021, I think we saw 18% appreciation. And the only way that appreciation stopped, because we still have a massive supply demand issue, is because the Fed put the pedal onto increasing interest rates. Okay. And so we still have a housing market that is literally flat at best, right?
It's not flat. It's still good.
Like,
it's still
I'm saying, like, at best case scenario, we're flat. But I think we're going to start to see year over years in the coming months, we're going to start seeing that appreciation peak in itself, even in the face of the Fed doing everything they can to stamp down appreciation. So you can take all these pieces and you can say interest rates are too high, so therefore I'm not. I'm telling you guys, if interest rates are low, our pricing is like, holy buckets, watch out, because we're appreciating through this. We've doubled interest rates, over doubled. Yep. And we're still appreciating.
Yeah.
And so, like, be mindful of the actual
with every piece of artificial weapon at its disposal with the Fed trying to curb inflation or curb inflation and pricing and honestly slow this market. That is 100. I don't think I've ever been involved in a market where, like, the Fed chair has come out and said, we're going to slow the market.
Yep.
On purpose. We're putting sandbags in front of the water flow.
So peel away the artificial Fed influence and then just take a peek at that supply demand issue that's behind the curtain. And then also keep in mind that builders have stopped building houses. Like, they're literally building only to spec most of the time. And then you can wake up into the future when rates start stabilizing or coming down, and holy mackerel, you're going to be happy that you interacted with this marketplace.
I heard this the other day, and I want to get your take on it. Honest opinion.
Yep.
It was a video online, but it was a very well put together video. Had some good data. There were good data sources cited. They said, I am going to buy every single one of my kids a home. I'm going to buy an investment property for each child I own. I have. The kids own you. If you have kids, it's the other way around. If I have 3 kids, I'm going to buy 3 investment properties. And I'm like, this is an interesting, where is this going? And then he goes, and the reason why is because I'm going to rent it because I can make money on it. I can cash flow. I'm not going to cash flow very much, but I'm going to buy this thing at $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And I'm going to at least get my money back on what I'm spending on it. Okay. And the reason why, it has nothing to do for me having an investment down the road. I'm sure it will be, but you know what it is I don't know that my kids are going to be able to afford a reasonable home by the time they're ready to buy a home. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's
number
deep.
one, I got to stop having kids. I got so many.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to buy an entire apartment building. Number one. Number two, I'm like, no. And then I'm like, God.
Look back 20
because then not even 20. Look back 7 years. My first home I ever bought in New Brighton, the one by a train station, that was a split level home, terrible layout. I bought that thing for like $220,000. That thing is worth $430,000. It is next to a gas station.
Yep.
Okay. And it's a really nice home. It was an awesome first home to buy, but I'm like, oh my God, the math in that is in 7 more years, double that.
Yep.
In 7 more years, double that. Like, are we really going to look at first time homes into the 700s?
I'm telling you, our lake
Is that
home,
possible?
dude, our lake home is that way. We can't afford it.
Yeah. Or we're pretending something isn't going to happen that has happened historically. Yep. My mom and dad's home in Mankato, cul-de-sac house with a nice corner lot or cul-de-sac lot. They bought that home for like $110,000.
Yep.
I don't even want to know what that thing's worth now.
Yep.
I mean, it's not 100.
Yep.
So we're just sitting here going like, no, it's not gonna. No, 700. No.
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
It's like shit. This has been happening every year, every 5 years, every cycle.
So can you look out 10 years from now and see housing prices being cheaper?
Not a
than
chance.
they are now. No, you just don't.
Period. No. I think that's my third bizarre take is the realization of this, like, no, my kids will be able to afford a home because I mean it'll be like $300-400 by the time they're ready to buy a home. Like, oh my God, no freaking way,
dude. 5 years ago, people would be like, "Yeah, the next house I want to get, I'm gonna spend $500K on it."
That was,
and now I'm just like, oh,
500.
First time somebody says they got 500 in these markets, I'm like, oof, like
we can do it.
Do like
there's inventory out there for that, but it's like,
but it's not like what you thought it was.
No, it's an interesting take. So I don't know what you guys think about that. But I don't know if it's because we want to block out the future because it's kind of grim. What do you guys think about that? I think if you look back historically and you go do this, talk to your parents and ask them what they bought their house for. Ask them what they bought it for back when they first bought their first home.
If it's in the market that you're in, okay.
If it's in the market that you're in, if you're in like this general area and too, like
within the suburbs,
idea. Okay. Ask them what they bought their home for.
We're talking Minnesota. Don't ask people who live in St. Cloud or in Mankato.
I mean,
if in the market that you're in.
Okay. In the market that you're in.
Okay.
I would just ask that question and then I'd be interested to see the results because it's happening. It is happened. It's historical. So
or just look back 30 years in the house. If you have a 40-year-old house, look back what the person bought it for.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't like doing that.
Yep.
Because you're just like, dang, I should have bought like 35,000 houses. Just dang it. If only I didn't have $37 to my name at that time.
I'd say that another shocking thing is actually happening in the marketplace, to be honest with you, is that it's actually moving.
Yeah.
It's actually moving.
Yeah.
It's selling and we have multiple offers. Yeah. I know that you're starting to see that. People are trying to tell you that it's not going to last, but like, dude, we have multiple offers.
We do.
And this market is really becoming efficient. So I put up 2 listings in the last 2 weeks, okay? And both of them loaded all of their showings, all of them on Friday.
Yep.
And we used to have showings a few on Friday night, all of them on Saturday, and 1 or 2 on Sunday. We're literally having 25 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. Like that's like the market's getting more and more and more efficient from and it's a really weird perspective because you can't even tell your sellers to take the weekend anymore, vacation.
No, you want to know what though I think is contributing to that? Maybe a little bit. I could be wrong. My hot take. You know what we've eliminated from this market over the last year and a half?
What?
The iBuyers, the corporations.
Yep.
The builders the big box builders for lack of a better term. When you remove some of these like disruptors from the field, you lift up all of this unnecessary complexity that's involved. Yep. Because really, you guys, just so you know, like, and iBuying will come back. It's going to come back because they know they can make a buck off of.
But I don't know, dude. It's so weird.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. In every market, they'll come back. Yep. And the bottom line is that they just have to make it complicated enough to where they're robbing you of your money without you understanding that they're doing that.
And they're also losing billions of dollars, which is like, how is
the model's going to change? The model will change, but the concept will come back in a different form.
The problem is that you can't, if you want to talk about you can't scale iBuying if you're buying the properties right. Like nobody's figured that out yet. Because so generally speaking, like you can go with the 70-30 rule, right? You should be getting about a 30% discount if you're going to buy something to do a short-term turn on.
Sure.
It should be about a 30%.
And that money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. And then and then taking that 30% off of like what you're going to have to put into it as well. So like these iBuyers are trying to do like 5 and 6%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do that. And real estate moves too slowly to work within those parameters.
I think they want more. I just don't think they have enough talent and boots on the ground and market understanding.
Well, but
that's what I'm saying.
Scale.
For sure. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like someone someday is going to come up with a software that's going to figure this all out. Blah, 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 blah.
But you have to speed.
You do. And that's what I'm saying. Like you just mentioned something about the efficiency and I'm like, I kind of agree. And then I'm like, you know why? Because I haven't had a freaking deal with an open door deal in like a year. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because every single one of those ended with like just something terrible went wrong every single time on the buy side or on the sell side.
Yep.
Didn't matter.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting,
It's
thing.
impressive.
It is.
Generally speaking, I think the big takeaway, and we can probably end here, is that I think that this marketplace is it's moving and it's favoring the prepared. And,
It is.
And the experienced.
It
So
is.
be mindful of that. That's it. You know, if you're looking to move, get out there and do it. If you're serious about moving and selling a house, like go and do it.
Go and do it.
Yep.
Do it. Focus on the things that matter. Trust that the people that you're working with, and vet the people that you're working with that are giving you really good advice, because that's super important. Literally and actually looking out for your best interests is very different than pitching you the lowest rate.
Yeah, we're not trying to
Lowest term,
convince
lowest
people who
comp
don't
plan.
want to move. Like we're not.
For sure.
People who have a move on the table, like we're trying to encourage you. Like it's okay. We're gonna maximize this.
100%.
That's it.
Yep.
If you don't want to move, like I don't give a fuck. Right? Don't move.
Don't
Go to
move.
your house.
I like it.
All right. See you guys. Thanks again.
See ya.
Like and subscribe.